Hello dear World of Warcraft friends, welcome back to a new video on my channel. Today it's about the second season of World of Warcraft Midnight. We have updated a tier list which on the 24th was released with "This is how strong the classes are with the current state of the season." We'll go through it here and expand on it a bit. Because it has to be said, as of this Wednesday there are a few more changes, so we can say which classes will be even better in the future and which ones won't. So we'll take the current tier list as things currently stand in the season and expand it with the information we have. If you like all of this, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and of course here's a reminder: a class can be as good as it gets. If you can't play it, it won't do you any good. So it's better to play what you enjoy. There will definitely be 2 or 3 more tunings in the coming weeks. That means nothing is set in stone here. It's better to play what you enjoy, and that way you'll be on the right track. Leave a like, subscribe if you want, and feel free to follow my second channel, G6+. For example, you can see this video there. There I'm playing my Shaman. On Monday we reached a 2400 rating. After I couldn't play on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Now we're pushing towards 3K. Yeah, if you want to join in, feel free to subscribe, and with that, let's get started. Here we see the first ones, yeah? The S tier, and not much is going to change there. Blood Death Knight is up there at the top, okay. And from my experience with it, I've only played level 11 keys so far, but what I can say is Blood Death Knight is just insanely good. So I've seen that in some pulls they managed to get 300k HPS, and they heal themselves insanely well. They're also not bouncing up and down with the HP bar like they used to. Blood Death Knight is really good. As for Arms Warrior, you pretty much see them in every dungeon. Absolutely insane damage. Arcane Mage is also in S tier here, very strong. Elemental Shaman is there too, and Holy Paladin. But I have to say, I haven't really seen Holy Paladin so far, because when I'm playing with my Shaman, I'm the healer. We also have another S tier, so with classes that are strong alternatives. And here we see that Restoration Shaman is included, which is also very good. And the Outlaw Rogue. I had a few of them in the group, also very good damage. Then it gets interesting, now the A+ tier. Here we have several specs that are getting buffed. On the one hand, we see the Assassination Rogue and the Demonology Warlock here. That one's getting buffed. It affects Affliction the most, but Demonology is going up. So it's at least in the A+ tier now, and it's already moved up here. Maybe even higher. We have Subtlety Rogues, Retribution Paladin, which I could also assume that it might even be moving towards S tier. However, it should be noted that the adjustments only affect the tier set. So it's not the class itself that's being buffed, just the tier set. And that's why I assume it will rather stay in the A+ tier. Because you first need the 4-piece set to benefit from it at all. Balanced Druid is in the A tier. Just like Destrolog, Destrolog gets a 30% buff to Rain of Fire, so it's really great for Mythic+. That's why it's definitely possible that it might move up to S tier, although being at A+ is already very good. We also have Unholy with us and the Guardian Druid. Brewmaster Monk is now here in the A+ tier, and as I said, Petco, who makes these lists, had already factored in the tuning changes. That's why it has risen to A+ here. I think it could even be the next best tank after the Blood Decay. Because there's another slight buff to its defenses, so your absorbs work better. And even more damage. So a complete package. The healer evoker is called the Dark Horse here, working much better than many had expected. But there are no changes there. In R tier we have Feral Druid and the Beastmaster. It has risen to A tier because of that. I think it will stay there as well. There are slight buffs for cleave damage and for AoE. At most, I would say it could be A+. But this is already a pretty realistic placement. Enhancement Shaman is in A tier. And we'll keep watching it as well. Yeah, that's the majority of all classes. Devourer, Demon, Hunter, that won't change. Affliction is included here now. I could also imagine that this could move more towards A+, because so many abilities are being buffed. It's quite possible that it'll be on par with its other two specs. Fury Warrior is included, Marksmanship Hunter is included. Nothing will change there because he doesn't have any buffs or isn't getting any additional buffs. Then we see the two melee Demon Hunter specs here. I assume that at least the DPS spec will move up to the A+ tier. It's already pretty good right now, and it's getting another damage buff on top of that. There's also a buff for the tank, but I don't think that's enough. Prot Warrior gets 2 more against magic damage, which is important this season, but I would still say it's not enough for A+, because Brewmaster and Bear are just a bit stronger. Pot Paladin in A tier, and Windwalker Monk, Mistweaver, nothing will change there either, they'll stay as they are. Other than that, in B tier we have several losers, for example Devastation Evoker, Shadow Priest, Survival Hunter, which will at least move up to A tier. Still, just. There are quite a few abilities being buffed actually, if not all of them, plus your melee damage, plus your pets, that should be enough for a slightly higher ranking. Frost Mage is included as well, and it also gets buffed in AoE, that's why I think this one goes into A tier. Just like with the Resto Druid, there are a lot of adjustments for healing, which should definitely have an effect, so I also think this one is enough for A tier. Nothing is changing for Holy Priest, and then down here we have the C tier, Fire Mage, Augmentation, and Disc Priest. There are no changes there, so nothing will happen. And at the very bottom we have the Windwalker Monk. There are no changes there, so it's probably still very hard to judge. I also haven't played with any yet, so we have to leave that one as to be defined for now. Plus Frost Decay, I think it's probably heading toward A tier. There are also some buffs included. And I don't think it's as good as Unholy, but Frost Decay is definitely not bad, as we can see here in the group. Sometimes pushing good damage. With these buffs, it should go a bit higher. Let's see. So all in all, a lot of classes are doing pretty well. With these buffs, everything should get a bit closer together, and a few classes will move up even further. And I would say from the current standpoint, the balance is really good. Let's see if it stays that way. With that, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful time and take care.